Oh, good afternoon, young Michael. It's good to see you again.
Good afternoon, Brian. What have you got there?
This is the cover of my next book. Things are really crook. We have to implore people not to vote for your namesake, Michael McCormack.
That's a bit harsh. We discussed dropping to 2% GDP growth yesterday. That is just a low point. There will be a big bounce from here.
Young Michael, I want to show you what I tried to get the other Michael to take to Ian McFarlane and to Joe Hockey on the 16th of May 2014. This diagram showed that as long as the actual revenue was below what was needed, that the debt would remain. As the two got closer together, the slope of the curve would decrease.
I understand that.
The problem, young Michael, was that GDP growth got lower and the slope of the curve increased. When we dropped to 2% GDP growth, the slope of the curve got even steeper. Your namesake does not want to even think about this.
I am sure that he will talk to you soon, because the China Free Trade Agreement and the TPP will improve everything.
I know that the other Michael, Andrew Robb, Scott Morrison and Michael Turnbull will say that, but Andrew Robb said in the past 3 years he has negotiated 3 trade deals and we have sunk to the lowest GDP ever. Doesn't that tell you something?
You don't understand, Brian. These are much bigger.
Doesn't that mean that the problem will be bigger?
No, we are living in the time of huge opportunity. Our country will grow strongly.
Young Michael, you have started to sound like a politician. We have to have a commercial break now. I want you to sketch in the movement for GDP growth for the next 4 quarters leading to the next election. That commercial break was for Bunnings. Are they relations of yours?
Yes, Brian. You'll find that all bunnies and Bunnings are related.
Oh, good. Now you've shown steady growth, but what do you feel that the other Michael would be prepared to say instead of leaving it to a rabbit? Oh my gosh, I've just had a signal from my producer. Michael, I want to sincerely apologise for any inferences I've just made. I want to publicly state that I think that you are smarter than most of the politicians that we have. Now, if you can forgive me, then the really sobering thought is that even with the steady growth that you have, even with that steady growth you have shown, the target of 3.1% will not be met, so that the debt curve will not flatten out. It went from very steep to become less steep, but the thing is that in all that time it still won't flatten out. We've still got ever increasing debt. Michael, do you think that Scott Morrison would understand that even then, 1, the debt would continue to climb but at a lower rate? 2, there should be an accompanying curve for the huge interest component. 3, the return to surplus even by 2020 is extremely unlikely. Michael, I wanted to show you the enormity of the problem. This is, we're going back to something that we had 2 years ago. Do you remember this, Michael?
Brian, how could I forget?
Since then, we have gone down from 2.4% all the way down to 2%, and we are trying to struggle to get back to 2.4%. This is why we feel that we have to write this book, because we really are in a very bad situation.
Brian, excuse me, my head is spinning. I am not as old and experienced as you, can we stop here?
Yes, okay, Michael. But for Scott Morrison and Christopher Pine, I would appreciate you indicating that I disagree with Scott, that we have only a spending problem, not a revenue problem. Our revenue is far too low. They should be thinking about a dollar fixed at 60 cents or less. Countervailing duty is accepted by the World Trade Organization, WTO. Opening the barrages of the lower lakes to provide more irrigation water, and more.